Hey everyone, it's Mike. I'm back. I've been away for a little while. I was on vacation, so that kind of delayed me quite a bit, and just haven't been buying a lot of records, quite frankly. But I have a few to show, and I want to give like concert updates and talk about my vacation. Yeah, that's what I'm here to do. So let's get on with it. So I'll start with the vacation. Courtney and I took the kids out to Manhattan. We went and stayed in New York City. Got a hotel in like Midtown and did all the touristy stuff because my kids had never been to New York City. I'd been several times when I was younger because my dad lived in Manhattan, and I would go spend my summers with him, and sometimes winter I'd go there for Christmas. But It's been a while. The last time I had been to New York City was before the towers fell, so it's been quite a while. So New York's changed quite a bit, but a lot of it's still the same. And we had a blast. We had a great time. Every day was filled to capacity with stuff to do. And included in my schedule of things to do was go to record stores while I was there, because why not? When I was a kid, I used to go to Bleecker Street and I guess Bleecker Bob or Bob Bleecker, whatever that record store was back then. I used to go there and I bought a few records that are in my collection are from back then when I went to that store. And also Tower Records in Manhattan. I remember buying some records there as well. Both of those places are gone. But while I was there, and it wasn't too far away from the hotel, was Rough Trade record store in Rockefeller Center, Rockefeller Plaza area. First day I went to go there, there was a line of people around the corner in front of the store, and turns out they were doing a autograph signing or I don't know, meet and greet with this singer, Chloe. I forget her name, quite frankly, but she's some new hip pop star kind of singer. I've listened to her music and it's okay. It's kind of boring, but it's okay. But she was there doing signings and stuff, so the store was closed. So I went back a couple days later. We were heading back to the hotel, and I said, hey, you guys go back to the hotel. I'm going to walk over to Rough Trade and go look through their bins. So I did. I went through their used section. They had quite a few bins of used records, but didn't see anything that was to my liking. And went through, they had like a punk section, new wave, post-punk. I like it when they're separated out like that because it makes my browsing go a lot quicker. So I'm not going through like a bunch of, I don't know, Steely Dan records looking for tones on tail. Everything's kind of separated, and I can just make a quicker run with that. And didn't see anything in their new stuff or their used stuff. I thought I wanted to get some kind of t-shirt, like a New York t-shirt. And my family, they all got the I Love New York t-shirts, the I Heart New York t-shirts. And I thought, well, I want to kind of get a Rough Trade New York shirt. I thought that would be a good thing for me to get. And of course, they didn't have any in stock. All they had were long sleeve versions, and it was so freaking hot and humid there. I just wasn't in the mood to buy a long sleeve shirt. So I just passed on that, and I ended up getting the I Heart New York shirt so that we'd all match and take fun pictures together and all that. So I have no problem with the shirt, but I kind of wanted the Rough Trade one, but oh well. So I ended up leaving. I didn't leave the store with any records. Actually, I didn't go to any other record stores because we just didn't have time. I would have had to go on traipsing all over the island to these places. I had addresses and stuff written down, and I could have gone, but we just didn't have the time to do all that. So it didn't happen, but that's okay. I did get a book though at Rough Trade while I was there. This is Mickey Berigny, the singer-guitarist from the band Lush, who obviously I'm a huge fan of theirs. And I've been wanting to get this book for a while. It's the paperback edition, and I just hadn't gotten around to ordering a copy yet, so they had them right there on the shelf. And this one, she had done autograph signings there at Rough Trade. So she signed a bunch of books that she left behind for sale. So I picked up an autographed copy. So really happy to have this. Yeah, so looking forward to reading it. I've already thumbed through a few chapters and was reading about like the making of the Spooky album, which is one of my favorite all-time albums. So that was very interesting to read. Looking forward to reading the rest of the book. So anyway, that's all I got out of New York. No records, just a book, but that's okay. Let's see. So yeah, that's the trip. Right before actually the last video I made, I talked about the dilemma I was having because there were two concerts happening on the same night. I had already purchased tickets and had made my commitment to taking my daughter to see Melanie Martinez, and but there was a Dive, the band Dive, which I'm like totally in love with this band and this album, Frog in Boiling Water, and Deceiver, the album that came out before that. I'm really digging both of these records. So I was really kind of hoping to see them, but it just didn't pan out. So so anyway, I went to the Melanie Martinez show with my daughter, and it was awesome. Melanie Martinez is just a huge talent. She's very creative. The set design, the dancers, the choreography. She's a great singer. Her songs are very interesting, and you know, it's pop music, but it's kind of like alternative pop. Her stuff can be pretty strange at times, and that with the set design and the backgrounds and all that stuff, it was just really a fascinating show, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, so no big deal. I'll see Dive next time they come through, or if I have to go to like LA or something to see them, I'll do that. Another show I went to see soon after, it was July 3rd, which was obviously the day before July 4th. I saw the Totally Tubular Fest, which was this new wave collection of bands that's going around touring, and they all get up on one stage and go one right after the other. They play like 5 or 6 songs each, which is really cool. I mean, some of these bands I'd like to see like a full set, but in this instance, it was really cool. The first band that came on stage was, and this was all indoors too. I've seen videos of outdoor versions of this fest, and I wouldn't want to be outdoors with these shows because, I don't know, just some bands are just meant to be inside. But the first band anyway was the Plimsolls. If you don't know who they are, a lot of people don't know who they are, but they're kind of a one-hit wonder. They did that song A Million Miles Away, which was featured in the Valley Girl movie, the soundtrack. It was fine. They played that song. They played a couple of other songs, and nobody really knew who the heck they were, but it seemed like a lot of people, and the crowd was like all my age group, Gen X, 50-somethings. And some of them were really decked out in like new wave, you know, like neon and fishnet and all that kind of stuff. So it was fun people watching for this show. I wore my 4AD shirt because I just felt like 4AD, their music in the 80s, like really encapsulates a lot of what I love about 80s music, is the Cocteau Twins and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, Plimsolls played, and then right after that was BWOW. Another thing to mention, I tried to get a backstage pass or a VIP pass or whatever so that I could do a meet and greet with the bands. There was no guarantee that I was going to see the people that I wanted to see. It's just whoever wants to show up will come out and, I guess, do pictures with you or whatever. But just the off chance that Annabella from BWOW would be there, I really would love to have met her. And I saw this ad on Craigslist, and contacted the person. They had one VIP pass to sell, and by the time I got to them, they had already given it to one of their friends, and so that was over. And it turns out Annabella did come out and greet people or whatever, so I could have met her, but I didn't. But oh well, I saved myself a couple $100 not doing that. So BWOW came out. It's just Annabella and then 3 new people. None of them were original, bandmates from the original BWOW. But they came out and played Love, Peace, and Harmony off their last album. They played WROK, Work. which is a really early song of theirs. They did Roustabout, which also came off their last album. Do You Want to Hold Me, which came off their last album. And then Quiver, Arrows in My, which is another song that came off their last album. Then they finally did I Want Candy. So crowd favorite, everybody loved that song. If they didn't know the earlier stuff, they definitely knew I Want Candy. So they were really good. They sounded great. Annabella's voice is awesome. There's really no deterioration of her voice or whatever. She sounded great. And the band sounded awesome too. The drummer was great. The bass player was just really fast and amazing. And the guitar, you know, one of those big old fat Gretsch kind of guitars. Just really solid, full, thick sound, like BWOW's known for. So really enjoyed the BWOW set. Videotaped the whole thing. Loved it. The next band that came out was the Tubes. Not a fan of the Tubes, and after seeing their set, I'm still not a fan of the Tubes. Man, Fee Waybill is super old. But you know, he's in his 70s. But you know, he did a decent job. But his voice is not great, and it's funny because Courtney says, you know, I really like admire the fact that he's out there and playing at this, you know, advanced age or whatever, but his voice doesn't sound great. I'm like, Fee Waybill's voice never sounded great. I don't think he was ever a good singer, even when he was young, and that's just my opinion. So they played that song "She's a Beauty" that was all over MTV back in the day, and another song that I recognized, but the rest of it I didn't know. They've been around forever, since the 70s. And then really the big surprise out of the whole show was the next band, Men Without Hats. And everybody knows Safety Dance. They came right out and just immediately went into Safety Dance, which surprised me because usually these bands leave their big hit for like the finale before they leave the stage. But they started out with Safety Dance. I'm like, how are they going to top that for the rest of the songs on their set? Because everybody knows Safety Dance, and it sounded fucking amazing. It sounded so good. I was just really impressed. And Ivan, the singer, same guy from the original band, and he had so much energy and like charisma on stage. I was just so impressed with them. I was really shocked. I thought it was just going to be somebody just coming out and phoning it in. And sounding maybe not that great, but the band sounded great. The keyboard, the synthesizer to that song was just really amped up, and just, it really got the crowd just like going crazy. Like the crowd was just like woke up for that song. His niece, what is her name? Sahara. The guitarist is his brother, and his daughter, the guitarist's daughter, is Sahara, and she was playing keyboards and backup vocals. She was great on backup vocals. She would sing harmonies with Ivan when there's harmonies in that song, and it sounded like kind of off key, but I really liked that. I don't know why, but it sounded good, like off key. I don't know, it's just interesting. Courtney didn't care for it. She's a classically trained vocalist, like she's gone to school for, you know, singing and stuff, so it annoyed her, which I could totally understand, but I really enjoyed it. Men Without Hats, just like, I wasn't expecting anything, so they really blew me away. And I went out to the merch table after the show to get a t-shirt from them, just because I was so impressed with them and wanted something to remember it by. And the shirts were all sold out, or like all they had was like small and extra small. So I said, screw it. So anyway, that was fantastic. And then at the end of their set, so how they solved that issue with, if they play Safety Dance first, what are they going to do at the end? Well, they did Safety Dance again, but they did like a remix of it. And I'd heard the remix before, like on the radio and stuff, so it sounded familiar. But yeah, they did like the remixed version of that song, and the crowd just ate it up, and I ate it up. I thought they just sounded freaking great. I was just so impressed with them. So that was really awesome. That was my big surprise of this show. And then Modern English came on after them, and I really wanted to see Modern English. Never seen them before. They played 2 songs off their first album. They played 2 songs off the second album, After the Snow. I'm Out With You, everybody knows that song. That was the encore song. And then they played 2 off of their latest album, which just came out in the past year. It's called 1, 2, 3, 4. They did 2 songs off of that. They sounded great. They sounded like, out of all the bands, they sounded like the most like well rehearsed, most professional sounding band. Like they've been doing this for so long and they're still doing it. Like they didn't sound, rough around the edges or anything. They just sounded really tight, and really enjoyed their set. Then after them was going to be what's the guy from, I forget his name now, but the guy from Thompson Twins. He was supposed to come out, Tom Bailey. And he was supposed to come out and whatever, and he did, I guess, but we left after Modern English because the finale, the last act of the night, was Thomas Dolby, and I was going to stay to see Thomas Dolby. I'd never seen him before, but he came down with COVID, apparently. So they made that announcement like before the show started that Thomas Dolby would not be performing. So I just decided, we'll just get out of here and beat the crowd and get out after Modern English. So I didn't get to see Thompson Twins, but that's okay because I'm not a huge Thompson Twins fan, and I only know maybe like 3 of their songs that I'd recognize. So anyway, that was that. Concerts coming up. I've got Love and Rockets and Jane's Addiction coming up in August. Really excited. I saw them 3 times together back in the late 80s. Jane's Addiction opened for Love and Rockets the 3 times that I saw them together. And now I think that they're co-headlining. I'm not sure who's opening for who. They make it sound like Jane's Addiction is the main act and Love and Rockets is opening, but I'm not really sure. They might do like the same like amount of time on stage, but just flip-flop. I'm not sure. Between shows. Anyway, looking forward to that, seeing them again. It's been a while. I'm seeing Blonde Redhead, which are all of these across the top, and then these 2 here. I'm seeing Blonde Redhead October 7th, and then after that, October 8th, I'm seeing Cigarettes After Sex. They just came out with a new album. And then Billie Eilish in December. I'm taking my daughter to that. That'll be a lot of fun. We've got floor seats for that, so we're going to get right down by the stage. My daughter's like super psyched because Billie Eilish is her favorite. So anyway, so that's my concert update for now. I'm looking at getting tickets maybe to see the Pretenders. I'd really love to see Chrissie Hynde. I love their early music and stuff, so I'm really kind of have a nostalgic kind of drawn to that, seeing that show. I'm just not sure. And then also Amy Mann is playing in Scottsdale, and I might go see Amy Mann. I'd really like to see her. I've never seen her perform live. So those are 2 that are I'm on the fence with because there's logistic problems, and it's just not as easy as it just going out and buying a ticket and going. So anyway, let's talk about records. I got this first one. We go to the mall every once in a while with the kids, and there's this place called FYE, For Your Entertainment. It's an old chain, and they're still around, and they've just opened up in this mall in Chandler. And every once in a while I'll pop in there and look at their record collection. Usually they don't have much. I did find that Substance copy of New Order Substance there that was priced at $30, and it was the deluxe red and blue colored vinyl edition, which is going for anywhere from $60 to $80 to $100 a copy. So I was really lucky to find that. So every once in a while I'll go through and look at their stuff to see maybe they'll have some freakish thing. And sure enough, they did. I'd been looking at this record, just ordering it like on Amazon. My favorite childhood band, Rush. This is their 13th album, Presto. And I'd been pricing it on Amazon, and it was like $50 to $60 a copy. And I'm like, I'm not going to spend that much money. It's not one of my favorite albums of theirs. But I just slowly starting to collect their later 80s stuff, their synth era, and, the stuff that it's really kind of hard to find, these records. But they did reissue this back in, I think, 2015 on Atlantic. So those reissues, you can still find like new copies of it on like Amazon and stuff, and they go for, like I said, $50 to $60. But I've just been hemming and hawing about it and just not really excited about that price point. So they had this at FYE, and it was $30. I'm like, well, that's kind of a no-brainer. $30 is a price I'll pay. But the weird thing is, and here's the back of it. It had these logos. It's Atlantic, but it's also this other. It's called Plaza Independencia Musica was the other label. So I'm like, well, that's kind of strange. And part of me is thinking maybe this is a bootleg, but I'm thinking, why would a chain like FYE have bootlegs? I can understand if it was like an independent mom and pop kind of place and they got a hold of a bootleg or whatever. But it's on Atlantic, and I don't know. I tried looking it up in Discogs, and I was having connectivity issues. I went ahead and got it, $30, and then when I came home, I did research, and this is a recent repress. It's the only repress since that 2015 one, and it's from 2022, and it's Argentinian. This repress. It's an official release, but it's Argentinian. And all the copies that they had on Discogs at the time were all people living in Argentina selling it. So I'm like, how the hell did FYE in Chandler, Arizona, how did they get a copy of this repress from Argentina? And like nobody on Discogs is selling it anywhere in the United States. That they all live in Argentina. I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing. But I guess that's par for the course for this place. But I'm glad I had it. I listened to it. It sounds fine. It's got a double-sided printed insert with the lyrics and liner notes, and it sounds fine for a $30 record. Rush. It's hard to find. See, it's on Atlantic, but it's also on this Argentinian label as well. It's fine. I'm good with it. I'm not going to try to sell it or whatever and get a different copy. It's totally fine. So I mentioned before, Cigarettes After Sex. This is one of those mirror board covers, so it reflects, and you can see my computer when I do that. But this is the new album, X's. Just came out like a week or two ago, and I picked up a copy at my local record store. They had two versions of this. The limited deluxe edition, whatever, which is what I got, and then the regular version. But the regular version that they were selling was on gray vinyl or silver vinyl or something like that, and this one was on black vinyl, but it came with it was a gatefold. The other one was not gatefold, and it also came with a lyric book, lyrics and photos and stuff. So I'm like, yeah, and it was only $2 difference. So I'm like, I'll spend $2 extra and get the deluxe. So that's what I got. New albums, first album that they've released in, I don't know, 5 years or so. I don't know, it's been a while since their second album, Cry, came out. And it's really good. Tejano Blue is the one that I've listened to the most. I've been listening to the singles since he released the singles kind of early. Tejano Blue is a great song. It just sounds just like their other two albums. That's the one thing about Cigarettes After Sex. All their music kind of pretty much sounds the same, but that's a good thing because it's really nice music. You can just put it on, just let it play in the background, and it's just very soothing, relaxing, awesome music. To describe it, I've described it as sounding kind of like David Lynch kind of music. Not strange David Lynch, but just the kind of noir kind of old sounding kind of guitar music. I don't know, it just has that kind of music that you would hear like in the club on an episode of Twin Peaks kind of music. I don't know, don't shoot me if you don't think it sounds like David Lynch kind of music, but to me it did. When I first heard it, I just felt like this music would be perfect in a episode of Twin Peaks. But anyway, Greg Gonzalez is the guy's name. He's the brain trust behind this music. He's the singer guitarist, and he's got a bass player, keyboardist dude, and a drummer. I saw them, Courtney and I saw them in concert last year, and we were totally shocked when we showed up to the concert, thinking that we got there early, and we just have no problem, just walk right in. The line went around the building, completely around the building to the back, and then down like an endless number of blocks. I think we stopped walking at like 5 blocks worth of the line, going just forever, and we ended up cutting. We just ended up just acting like, oh yeah, we're part of this group or whatever, and just kind of cut in because I got sick and tired of just walking block after block after block to get to the end of the line. And it was all like 13, 14, 15-year-old girls for the most part, the entire audience. That's what it was. I had no idea. I thought it would be maybe older people, maybe middle-aged people. I'm not really sure what I thought, but it was shockingly a very young crowd. And this time we're going to go see them on October 8th. and it's a bigger place, much bigger. It's like their hockey arena, the old Coyotes hockey arena, who don't play there anymore. It's a big place, and I got really good seats, and we're taking my daughter because she really likes them a lot too. So really looking forward to seeing them again. Yeah, so the gatefold just has like this photograph on the inside, and that's really it. But really, really pretty packaging. Cigarettes After Sex. X's is the name of the band, or the name of the album. It's the photo book that it came with, and it's got pictures of the band. I don't know, you see Greg there, Greg Gonzalez, the singer dude. And to describe the music too, I kind of described the sound of the music, but his voice, he's very androgynous. When I first heard it, I wasn't really sure if it was a female or male vocals. And it just fits the music absolutely perfectly. I think they're awesome. Really excited to see them again. It came with this black paper cardboard sleeve or whatever, but I put it in my own polyline sleeve, just black vinyl. So there's the label. So that's the second album that I got, and the third and last. Stereolab is my favorite band, and I've been kind of, instead of like getting new stuff by different bands or whatever, I'm like, do I really need this out? Do I really need this on vinyl? That's been my whole like struggle, and why I haven't been putting out so many videos. Is like, do I really, like, when a band puts out a new out, like Portugal the Man, I like them. Do I really need to have Portugal the Man? Do I need to like buy all their albums just because I like them, or can I just listen to it on Spotify and I'm good? And that's kind of how it is sometimes. Like I'd rather like focus on bands that I collect, like the Cocteau Twins or Curve or Stereolab or Rush, and just really kind of fill out my collection of those bands. So that's kind of what I'm more focused on right now. And so speaking of which, favorite band Stereolab, I'm trying to collect, not only, I have all their studio albums, but I'm trying to collect like all the different issues of each album, all the variants and issues and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not shy about having multiple copies of the same album, because I really like, kind of, for certain bands like Stereolab, they're kind of a perfect collector's kind of band. They have so many variants and so many odds and ends and weird stuff out there to collect, and it's a lot of fun. So this is one that came out, I believe, in the album originally was released in 2001. This is Sound Dust. Came out in 2001. And I've been looking for an original, but for now I've just had these. This was on Elektra in 1972. This is a repress, and I believe these are from 2013 maybe, these reissues, and they did it for like 5 of their studio albums, from Mars Audiac Quintet all the way up until, I believe, this album was the last one that they did a reissue on this 1972 imprint. So this is a single sleeve, single pocket there, and it comes with it's a 2-record set. There's a lot of music on this too. It's not just spread out for just so that they can sell you on 2 records. It's a lot of music, a lot of minutes. So it definitely needs to be on a 2-record set for sure. Lyrics, liner notes, whatnot, these 2 inner sleeves, and then these are what the labels look like for this reissue. And it says 1972 on there, and it does the same thing. It has the same logo or whatever on all the different 1972 reissues that I have of those 5 studio albums, just different color combinations. So yeah, so this is Sound Dust, and this just so happens to be one of my 2 favorite Stereolab albums. So it's really awesome collecting this one, or finding this thing that I found. This is the reissue that just came out in 2019? The expanded edition, and it's got this gatefold here, and it's got a pocket, and it's a 3-record set. It's released on Warp Records and Duophonic, and it comes with like extras. Comes with the original album. Some of the songs have actually been extended on these reissues, on this particular set of reissues, the expanded ones. Some of the songs are like fuller versions of the same song, not remixed, but just longer versions of the same song. Comes with a poster instead of having like those inner sleeves with the lyrics. It comes with like this full-size poster, and then the lyrics are on the inside of the poster. Yeah, so they did that for not just 5, but they did that for 6 of their 6 or 7, maybe 7. Yeah, 7 of their studio albums. They did this expanded reissue campaign in 2019. I saw them in concert. They toured in support of these reissues in 2019, right before the pandemic, October 10th. I remember that because it's my brother's birthday. And yeah, so is this, yeah. So it comes with 3 records. 2 of the records have just the regular album playlist. And then the 3rd one has the bonus tracks. And on this particular one, it's got a etching on the 6th side of the record. It's got this etching, and it's the face. It's kind of the skull face from the artwork on the album cover. So that's really cool. So that's my 2nd copy of Sound Dust. And then on eBay, I just browse every once in a while. I'll type in Stereolab vinyl. And this one came up. And it's my birthday coming up and Father's Day and all this. And Courtney says, you know, you should splurge and get something that you really want. And I thought, well, instead of getting like a bunch of records that I kind of sort of want or maybe don't want, I want to like get something that I really want, something that's really special. And I felt like this is exactly the kind of thing that I wanted to get. So this is an original copy of the album on Duophonic. Came out, and this was pressed in 2001. They put out 2 versions of this. They put out the regular version, came on 2 records, Duophonic, whatever, just as is. And then they put out this deluxe limited edition numbered version, and it's a hardcover book. It's a textured paper. It's autographed by Tim too, by Tim Gain. It's autographed. It says, "Hold tight," and Timmy. And I've seen his autographs several times with similar kind of little drawings and signatures and stuff. So, and the guy who sold this to me was the person who got the autograph or whatever from Timmy, so from Tim Gain. So if you look in the avatar on my channel, you'll see a picture of me in the little circle, picture of me and another guy there next to me. That's Tim Gain. That's the guy who signed this. It's on this textured hardcover book cover kind of material. These were all handmade. And it that's what the back looks like, and it opens like a book. And then it's got these sleeves, these pockets here, and the inner sleeves and the records, the 2 records are inside these pockets. So I don't really know how to do this on camera, and I don't want to drop it or tear those pockets, but basically the inner sleeves come out with the record inside. I haven't sleeved this yet, but these are what the labels look like. I need to take these out and put them inside polyline sleeves. But anyway, you see here's the pocket here that the inner sleeve was just in. And it's also numbered, and my number is 1132. They made me 1,200 of these. So that's my number, 1132. So it's really special in so many different ways, this copy of Sound Dust, and I'm really just stoked to have this in my collection. So kind of nerded out with that one, and love it. So happy birthday to me for that. And yeah, I think that's it. That's all I've got to show and talk about. I've missed you guys. I'm sorry it's been so long. I'm gonna really try to make more videos and more frequently. I just got to be buying more records. Actually, I have 3 records. That's another thing I can talk about. I have 3 records on order right now. And I'll have a 4th soon enough, as soon as I see the pre-order available. I've pre-ordered a copy of Moon and the Melodies by the Cocteau Twins and Harold Budd. I do have an original copy of it on Relativity and 4AD, but 4AD is releasing, they've re-released, or they're going to re-release it. I think it comes out at the end of this month. I pre-ordered that. Fantastic album too. Really excited to have that. Another copy of it. And then also Meat Beat Manifesto, one of my favorite electronic industrial bands. I have Storm the Studio, which is my favorite album of theirs, but the two that, not the two that came after that, but the one that came after the one that came after it, that's called, what is it called? Dang it. My Subliminal Sandwich is one of the ones that I ordered. That's the one that came after the one I'm blanking on. Let me pull up my Amazon order list here, and I will get that name of that album. Satyricon, that's what it's called. Satyricon, great album. I saw them on that tour. They came to Gainesville, Florida when I was in college, and I saw them. They opened up for the Orb, 808 State, that's who they opened for. I really wish they didn't open for a band. I wish they could have done an entire full long set, but I did see them in concert back then. So Satyricon is coming out, being reissued, and so is Subliminal Sandwich. Both fantastic albums. I'm really excited about those. And then something that will be released, I believe in September, but I haven't seen a pre-order for it yet, is a new Wolfgang Press album. They are getting back together, and they've recorded a new album, and it's going to be released in September. It's Michael and Andrew and the third guy, Matt, I believe, or Mark, I forget. But he's not with the band anymore, Mark Cox, I think that's his name. He's no longer with the band, but Andrew Gray, his brothers, I think his name is Steven, his brother is joined the band in place of Mark Cox. And then Michael Allen, of course, is there. You can't have Wolfgang Press without Michael Allen, his voice and his bass playing. So anyway, I'm looking forward to hearing new Wolfgang Press music. That'd be awesome. Hopefully they will tour. Hopefully they will do cities other than Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York. Hopefully they will come inward and do a show in like Phoenix would be awesome, or Tucson, whatever. Anyway, so that's what's going on in my world. I hope you guys are doing good. I love you all, miss you. Thank you for watching my channel and subscribing and all that great stuff. Hang in there, and I will see you again soon. Bye.